Pizza's here. Hang on. Let me go grab that real fast.
It's actually a good editing spot.
Pizza is here. All right.
All right, welcome back to another exciting episode of Spellstorm Miniatures. My name is Jeremiah.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Chud.
And we just like to get together to talk about games, to inspire everyone to play more games. Tonight's episode is kind of fun. It's number 50. And so for whatever reason, 50 is like a milestone, I guess.
Woohoo!
Anyway, we reached out to our listeners, to our Patreon supporters, and we asked what they would like us to talk about to celebrate our 50th episode of Spellstorm Miniatures. And so we got a couple suggestions, and the one that we are grabbing tonight is our Desert Island games. So the premise, I suppose, would be, stranded on a deserted island, and you've got, the right
Deserted desert island.
I know. I don't know what I'm saying. And
No.
I just say words, and somehow they come out, and somehow people understand. But yeah, you have the appropriate material and the appropriate amount of opponents to play the game, or cooperative people to play the game with, right?
Yeah.
And let's see. So that's our big topic for tonight. Pretty excited about that. I'm pretty excited to hear what you folks choose and then why. And as we're talking, I would love for our listeners, if you're part of our Discord server and you're part of our community, why don't you chime in and tell us what games do you like that would fit these categories of just high replayability. But hey, before we get to our main topic, have you guys played any games?
No games for me.
No games. Okay.
No miniatures games for me, just hobbying stuff. I did play a game of the Arkham Horror 2nd Edition board game with my two roommates last weekend. I hadn't played that one before. It's pretty good. It is tough. It was definitely a little bit tough with only 3 people. And then some bad rolls, and things rapidly went out of control, like it does with that game. So, I don't know. I think I've been kind of busy. We haven't been able to get any more games of King's Dilemma in, but I think some of us might be kind of itching to try and get back into that again, because we were playing it so much. Like, we were playing it a lot. Every weekend we were doing 2 games for a good about a month and a half or so, or about a month or so. And then we've been taking a break as people. My roommate Phil helps coach debate, and so a lot of times on the weekends he has to do coaching and judging for debate tournaments, and they've had a couple of them. They've been having events the last couple of weeks, so
nice.
He's been busy with that. We haven't been able to do it, and sometimes the Saturday has spilled into Sunday, and then he hasn't known when Sunday was going to be over, so haven't been able to do it other than that one game of Arkham Horror. I think we're going to try and play another game of that today, sometime later this evening. So
nice. Oh. Yeah, we haven't gotten any miniatures games in either. For Oz, this is the last week of the term, and so naturally, he puts off doing all of his work, and so I've been trying to kick his butt to try to get his work in, and which means that I have to be diligent, and then I have to be sacrificing and saying no time for games.
Yeah,
which means
you gotta go into dad mode instead.
I gotta go into dad mode.
Yeah,
which is fine. I mean, it's fine. He's a good kid, but yeah. So hopefully, when the term ends, we'll be able to loosen up again. But the one thing that we have been able to do is squeeze in some Magic games in between some things. Commander, of course, that's the only thing we play, and so they always make fun of me. Both my boys, they make fun of me for the decks that I choose. They don't like the decks that I play. And so I was doing a little research, and I decided that I would build a secret deck without telling them. And
Ooh.
yeah, and so I revealed the deck last week, and it was Omnath. And so it has the landfall trigger. And
Which one? Which
uh,
Omnath?
the ink treader one with the 4 colors, no black.
Okay.
Yeah. So apparently he's popular. So they started ragging me on that, which I had no idea he was popular. I just read it, thought the art looked cute, and I liked the abilities. And so I was like, I'm going to build a deck around that. And so we played 2 games of that, and they proceeded to crush me because they just went after me. They were like, I was just like,
rude.
How rude, right? So I never even got to really see what Omnath can do. And then I revealed my other deck, which they knew about that I was building, which is a elephant tribal with Selvala.
Oh yeah,
as my commander. She's the elf who has the parlay ability.
Mm-hmm.
See, and I love that stuff because it affects like everyone at the table. So we all draw, we all reveal, and so I have all these like. So we got 1 game of that one in, and I was ramping pretty good because it's green and white, and then I started laying down my elephants in like the right order, and I had my right artifacts out, like Door of Destiny, I think is the one, and then a few others, and they decided they would get rid of one of my artifacts, which was fine, and then we started kind of attacking each other, and all of a sudden on one of the turns I parlayed, and Bryce had a board wipe card, and I was like, oh, I can't have any of that. So then I swung and killed him, and getting rid of a few things first, and then I swung and killed him, and he was just like, where'd that come from? Like he didn't see it, Yeah. And then I had enough to take care of Oz too. I don't remember exactly what I did to take care of Oz for that game, so the deck that I thought was going to do well got ambushed, and then the deck that I thought was cute did really well. So but,
a lot of times it's the unsuspecting one that does pretty well.
But I'm scared of it so much, and it's okay. You can tell us if you net decked. It's all right. There's no shame.
Well, there's this great website called EDH Rec, and it has like all of the stuff, and then it like talks about. It gives you like cards that synergize together and combos, and
it's a great site.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and so use a little bit of that. There's another site called Scryfall, which you can like enter like search terms, and so like I'm looking for this ability with this color combination or whatever, and I have barely scratched the surface on Scryfall, so. I mostly just use EDH Rec because it's easy to navigate on my phone.
And honestly, with a game like Magic that's so big and been around for so long, if you haven't been playing it for years and years on end, it's really easy to not know anything about certain cards. Like I played for a handful of years in the early 2000s, like the end of the 90s, early 2000s when I got introduced to it. I was playing it for, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years or something like that. I was mostly playing with my friends. And right around like 2006 or so, I guess it was about 8 years or so. Around 2006, 2007, I was playing frequently with my friends, buying a lot of product and stuff like that. And I decided I wanted to quit, which is how I got into miniatures games. I wanted to play something competitive, but I didn't want to keep sinking the money into competitive Magic playing standard. So I got into a miniatures game thinking it was going to be less expensive, right?
Good thinking.
So that's how I got in. That's how I got into War Machine, and I played War Machine. I mean, I still play War Machine, but I quit Magic completely for. I think maybe I played it on really rare occasions, but like I quit until about 2016 or so, and I came back. And when I came back, my friend introduced me to Commander, which I had heard of EDH before, which is what it originally came from. Elder Dragon Highlander. It was a community. Format, and then it became an official format, and got back into it, and then started getting back into playing Magic again. And so, I mean, I work in a game store where I'm around Magic cards all the time, and there's still like hundreds and hundreds of cards out there that I've never even heard of. Like, there's a card that works perfectly in one of my commander decks, my Melic deck, called Mana Severance. And what it is it's 1 blue and 1 for a sorcery, and you get to exile any number of lands from your deck, and then you get to shuffle your library. What this does is it allows me, when I get to a certain amount of lands and artifacts in play that generate mana, I can cast Mana Severance, I can yank all the land out of my deck, and so now I'm only drawing spells that I want to play or creatures and other things like that. So it pulls all the resources out, and I've got nothing but gas in the tank left. And it helps that deck so much. And I never heard of this card before until my roommate told me about it. And it's perfect for that deck, because generally I don't want more than 8 or 9 lands. If I'm in the middle of something where I'm trying to play spells off the top of my deck, I don't want to sit there with lands on the top that I can't do anything with. So Mana Severance allows me to cut all of that stuff out and then just start only playing spells or the creatures that I need.
Yeah, that's excellent. Like I said, I just kind of relearned just the last year or so about a little bit more about Magic cards again, because like I said, I started playing when I was mid '90s, right? Is when I was first introduced, and I remember my buddy was going to come over, and he's like, "Hey, you want me to bring my Magic cards?" I was like, "Sure," thinking like David Copperfield style Magic. That kind of dates me if dropping David Copperfield. But anyway,
he's going to show you a card trick.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, "Oh, cool," and then it ended up being that, and played for the first few years. So that's why like I said, I was in that beta, Ice Age, Mirage, was kind of on the tail end, and then I dropped off because life, college, so forth, school, all that sort of stuff. So
having a family, all that stuff gets in the way.
Oh, I was done with Magic cards a bit before that, but yeah.
Magic's one of those games, same thing. Started, stopped. Yep. But every time I started and stopped, I wasn't into Commander. All I knew about was the 60 card, standard or whatever. Yeah. And
I mean, it's been
around for a while.
The official Commander format has only really been around since like 2013. 2012. Otherwise, it was a non-official format that not everyone had heard about.
So, but now I feel like it might stick around a little bit longer, just because, like, both my boys, that's all they talk about. They love Commander. Like, every day at dinner, they're like, "Dad, I saw this new card today. I think I'm gonna build a new deck, or I got to upgrade Gashath." Like,
there's a bunch of really cool legendary creatures that are coming out in the new set called Heim, and it's all Norse mythology themed. It's really cool.
Yeah. So I saw the preview. It sounded intriguing, but I don't ever want to I don't know. I like where I'm at with the game. I just wish I could play more miniatures, but right now that's all they want to talk about. So, So, hey. Hey, we're a miniatures podcast. We should talk about miniatures.
Right?
All right. Let's go back. Let's go to our topic of the day. And, and I want to say thanks to all of our Patreon supporters who contributed to this conversation on focusing, giving us a topic to talk about tonight. And so the thing we want to talk about today is Desert Island. Is it Desert Island or Deserted Island? What am I saying?
I mean, a desert island would be a little hard to live off of. Plus,
no food source.
Yeah,
you're trapped.
Yeah, how about an isolated island that has
island
to survive and play games the rest of your life, but you have no way off the island, and no one can find you by a magical spell or something. I don't know.
Which probably wouldn't be a bad existence. I mean,
right?
I'm playing games the rest of my life. I have fewer things to worry about.
Yeah.
So anyway, we want to start with this category, miniature game. Like if you were trapped on this fictional isolated island, which is an alliteration, which I like, and Which miniature game would you want with you?
Why don't you kick us off? You haven't kicked us off in a while.
Oh no, I'm playing coy. Why would you do that to me? This is the one I didn't want to answer first.
All right, I'll go.
You have to call me out.
It's okay. So I was also thinking, I'm gonna imagine my island is like Themyscira, right? See, it's all shielded, but then you've got flesh, and you got plenty of opponents. They all happen to be Amazon, so that might be a good or bad thing. I don't know. So I was thinking about this, and what would I go with? I think I would have to kind of go Corley to. I like my BattleTech. Maybe I'm just getting a little excited about it because I'm going to be getting them again here soon, or it just brings back some good memories and like a variety of ways you can play, and all the different configurations to go with. So it's a good fun strategy, one that takes some time, keeps you sharp on math. So yeah, BattleTech's kind of is going to be mine. Some stompy robots, and I can always say, "Oh, Mech Warrior is part of that." Oh, hey, look at that! I got an extra bonus for scenario wise, but
yeah, that's a good call. That surprises me. I didn't know that's what you would pull that one out. I'm very impressed. Okay, all right, all right. Chad, what about you? I really, it's a hard question for me.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a difficult question for me too, because despite the fact that I don't play a lot of different miniature games or a lot of different board games, I do have difficulty playing one game all the time. Like, I like to mix things up. I like to, sometimes if I play something for too long, I'll get bored of it. I've been playing War Machine for 10 years. If there was the ability where I could either magically change or had access to all of the miniatures and I could play whatever I wanted at whatever time, if that was kind of also part of this scenario, is that the number of expansions or the number of specific armies or selection wasn't an issue as well. War Machine would probably have to be my answer. Like, there's still tons of stuff out there that I would enjoy like playing around with from time to time. There's lots of different stuff to explore in the game. I just don't have the the fiscal ability to like hop factions whenever I want to try and play something a little bit different. Keeping up with the steamroller packet would be a little difficult because as the game develops and morphs and the meta morphs and new models get released, some of that I think also probably affects the steamroller packet. But I think you could probably take any of the ones in the last couple of years and probably lock them pretty close in place. Privateer has done a really good job at pretty much like honing in on a specific packet that doesn't really need much changing as far as balance. But I would probably have to say War Machine. If it wasn't that, if I didn't have access to everything and I had to basically clear out my entire collection of miniatures and then be somewhere else and only have what it was that I had, I'd probably have to say it would probably have to be some sort of a miniature agnostics game. Probably Frostgrave, because I don't know how many other ones there are out there, but if there were no limitations on what I actually have, then I would have to say War Machine.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I was kind of thinking War Machine a little bit too, and I believe in the magical world of all the factions exist and they can be painted or not painted depending on your desire. Because your opponents have to play something, right? So
exactly. Yeah. And my magical isolated island on Hell has painted all of mine. So that's a good call. Like, I was thinking about this, and it's really hard for me because I enjoy a lot of games, and I have a variety of miniatures for a variety of games, and I have a variety of rule sets. Chad, I've got some minis agnostic rule sets at home we can maybe review or something and talk about on the podcast in future episodes. But like, I always just keep coming back to War Machine. Like, it's the one that I probably spend the most time thinking about, and I don't think about much lately, but like the most time. Like I have more reps in, I guess you want to say. I have so many warlocks and warcasters I still have yet to field, just in my own personal collection, and so if I was trapped on an isolated island, I would want to play every combination of everything I own, and I can get a lot of playability out of that for a very long time.
Yeah.
So I think what I would do is, to answer this question, I think I would give it an honorary mention, maybe like a runner-up, which is probably how I'm going to have to answer this question satisfactorily for our listeners. But I'm really, really enjoying my exposure to Infinity right now, and I think N4 is a pretty slick rule set, and the gameplay is exciting, and so I'm sub 5 games, or maybe at 5 games total, and so I can't say that I would want to take it with me to my isolated island. I think it's a little premature to say that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factions, a lot of combo to experiment there too. So
that's true. That is true. But yeah. So that's good. So Dan is BattleTech with honorable mention War Machine.
Mm-hmm.
Chad is War Machine, honorable mention Minis Agnostic.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm War Machine, honorable mention Infinity.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
All right. Yeah. See, I would love to be on the island with you guys. We could play games.
Right?
Yeah.
Just take these responsibilities and throw them out there.
Yeah. We just, I'm just imagining, Tom Hanks.
But we gotta have access to other factions, because I don't want to just play against Scorn and Legion, Trolls and Signar, and only be playing Circle.
So. I got minions and some convergence. He's got some convergence, so we got the robots there too.
Yeah. I've got Cephalix I can throw at you. I even have Crix now.
Oh man.
Well, stuff for strange bedfellows and a little bit extra. I was planning on really playing into that, playing all the different combinations of that.
Yeah, and then lockdown happened.
Yeah, there you go.
Lockdown ruined all my plans.
Yeah, right.
If you have all the War Machine models, then you have Riot Quest models also. So you get 2 for that one right in there.
Yeah, Riot Quest would be another really good one. I haven't played that much of it, but I've been working on painting models, and I've got everything that's been released so far, and I'm itching to. I've been lazy recently. I haven't gotten much painting done, but once I get to a better place, I want to introduce my roommates to it, because I think they'll enjoy it, because they've both played some miniature skirmish games, and they both like board games, and it's a good combination of both. So with some mayhem involved. So
that's right. All right. So here's so we have the next question that was presented to us. Same scenario. This time, RPG.
Yeah.
And so we'll ask you, Chad, to go first. Which one would you take with you? Tabletop RPG, in case anybody isn't, Yeah.
So again, I guess kind of same scenario. If we assume that we have access to all the books and stuff, I would probably have to say. Probably 5th Ed D&D. Again, I haven't played a whole ton of other ones, but I would definitely say honorable mention, probably Pathfinder, because I started with 3.5 when I was in high school. That was the first RPG system I ever played, and I played a little bit of it, and I played enough of it to kind of start getting an idea of it. But then the longest campaign that I was actually a part of when I started playing RPGs again a couple of years ago was a Pathfinder campaign that my friend that I used to work with at Target invited me to come and play in his campaign that he was running. And Pathfinder is a better refined 3.5 in a lot of ways. There's still tons of different options. If you have access to all the different books that have been published by Paizo, there's infinite possibilities of different combinations of classes and feats and stuff like that. It's endless. If you wanted something that was a little bit more crunchy, But I like kind of the simpler things. I think 5th Ed has started to catch up. Not quite as expansive as like Pathfinder or 3.5 was, but they've started putting out a lot of really good books recently that add a lot more layer options and things like that. And as I've been recently been able to play less miniature games, and I've been listening to some RPG podcasts and things like that, I've been getting the itch to play in some more RPG campaigns and stuff, because it's a little bit easier to do now, even though you don't get to roll the dice and see the map always or as well. But it's still been wanting to explore a little bit more role playing, which is never something I ever really got to do, and I feel like I'm a lot more comfortable as a person with myself and trying to explore role-playing characters and stuff a little bit more, which I was never really open to doing in the past.
That's cool. You bring up a good point though too. It's like, yeah, never really thought. I guess I've always just kind of been open with it, but like, as a kid, if you want to like play a different type of character or you have to play in a role, you kind of got to have your confidence of yourself. So that's kind of a good.
Yeah. Well, and also like, yeah, and something that is a little bit strange for me is like if I look back at my track record for different characters and things that I've played, I think about 50% of the time cross-played as a female character rather than playing as a male character, mostly because it works for the character design, the concept that I have, or potentially like the character that I'm kind of loosely basing the idea for this character off of from some other IP. And also it's cool to have like BA chicks in storylines. Like we need more of that. Like we need more women doing awesome stuff because they're just as capable of it as any male adventurer out there. And I'm also kind of boring. I like playing humans, and like humans, half elves, and elves. Like I haven't explored into very many of the exotic more races or things like that because it doesn't always fit the look for a character that I'm going for. But and sometimes it's getting into the head of another person, especially somebody of a different gender, can be difficult to do. But like I have fun with it. It's fun to do, and I enjoy playing the characters that I play. Like in the campaign that Jeremiah and I are playing in right now, he's playing a paladin, and I'm playing a bard, and I'm playing his younger sister in the campaign because it just kind of worked out for the way that our characters are going to be introduced, the way that they're linked together, and how we're joining the campaign. And also the character design that I was going for my character also kind of worked out that way.
Excellent.
Well, and you're exploring a new race there because we're Kalashtar.
Yeah, we're both playing Kalashtar.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Which I didn't realize were as large of pacifists as they actually are. So I didn't realize that.
That makes me an interesting paladin, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my last campaign I did, I was a bard, and the group was like, well, when you want to give our bardic inspiration, you've actually got to like do a jingle or some sort of tagline, or you got to be a little more bardy. They're a lot more into, while you're doing this, you better role play it. So I brought a little guitar that was like a toy guitar from like Goodwill or something. It was like a 10-inch type size, so I'd strum that. Anyway.
Yes. I was in our campaign. Every time I cast either Tasha's Hideous Laughter or Vicious Mockery, I was saying some sort of terrible pun that was related to whatever the target I was casting at it was.
Yeah,
It was pretty great.
Nice.
Just thinking vicious mockery taglines, just taunting people.
Yeah.
Billy berries.
Yeah. Yeah. I put it into my character profile too, like always loves a good insult, even if it's directed at me, and I'm gonna try and trying to still work on how I'm going to play into that. And the last session we had, like my character had 2 points of exhaustion, and so she was just kind of like, I don't want to be in this combat. Like, I don't want to be here right now. I'm just gonna cast Vicious Mockery. I don't even have something witty to say right now because I'm just so exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Dan? What RPG do you think you could play if you couldn't play any other ones? What would you want to?
Yeah. So that's just
keep
kind of
having all your campaigns in.
Yeah, back and forth a little bit. Because I said with BattleTech, Mech Warrior would go wonderful with that, and you combo. But maybe you want something different, right? Get a little something different.
Yeah.
So I eventually landed myself also on D&D. I guess I wasn't as picky about as edition. Again, I jumped back in on the THACO days. I didn't really care for that as much. So 3.5 was kind of the bigger playability I had. Totally skipped 4th, and then did some 5th. But again, there's just such a breadth out there of stuff. So I was thinking, well, hey, if my miniature game is more of a sci-fi robot-y, well, let's go fantasy, right? Maybe to help kind of mix it up. And again, there's a lot of variety. You can go tons of directions with it. So for again, a lot of the same reasons you kind of said, that's kind of what I went with as well. And I will throw the honorable mention of Shadowrun was kind of a thought in there as well. Just because it's been a while since I played that, but it was a fun system when I did, right? It was again a little bit different. You had those fantasy type creatures and you had magic, but then you also had your technology in there and just memory, of fun times of being basically like a Minotaur type dude, and then all of a sudden some guy just got such a lucky hit that just dropped on the first mission. Like, well, that was a fun character. Yeah. But
the other interesting thing about choosing 5th Ed is if we also include all the books or the 5e compatible stuff.
Exactly.
That will also include Iron Kingdom's Requiem, which Kickstarter goes live tomorrow. So we could play War Machine 5e D&D.
You stole my plug.
Yeah. Yeah, the Kickstarter for Requiem goes live tomorrow, the 26th of January.
Yeah, as of we're recording. But yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so no, I think about that one too. It's like, yeah, then there's Requiem. So yep. I mean, you check out Kickstarter, there's tons, like there's always people coming up with stuff, which is great seeing all the ideas people have, all the different things. I've backed a couple of them just to kind of help those artists out, or authors, I guess would be more. Especially the ones that are like solo type of, hey, this is I'm doing as a hobby. I'm kickstarting this. What do you guys think? Sure, I'll throw you $10 or something like that, right? And get something neat that I'll play with eventually, maybe. But otherwise, just supporting those type of people. So,
yeah, I've supported some OSR creators, on Kickstarter and stuff, and I love that stuff. OSR is easy too because it fits like so much stuff. So.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, round us out. Are you going to go with it? Are we going to get a triple crown here of 5e?
We are not going to get a triple crown of 5e. So I'm gonna start with my honorable mention. My honorable mention is going to be Delta Green. I love Cthulhu mythos kind of stuff and the mystery and everything like that comes with it, and just the horror and scary parts. And Delta Green is basically modern Cthulhu mythos stuff. It uses a percentage die system, so you roll 2d10s on skill checks and stuff. And when Delta Green was being kickstarted, my play group signed up to be play testers for that. And so to have my name in the back of a book sounds pretty cool. And but I really enjoyed that, and could probably see myself doing a lot of that. But I'm actually going to tip my hat to another game called Monsters and Other Childish Things, and so this little indie RPG. It uses what's called the one roll engine. And so it's you get a pool of D10s and you're looking for pairs and or matches, I guess you're looking for matches. And so the higher the dice, the better quality you would do the thing you're trying to do. But then the number of matches is how fast you do the thing you're trying to do.
Okay,
So
that's interesting.
So if you roll 2 7s and I roll 3 4s, we're both successful. You're going to do your thing better, but I'm going to do it faster. And so Monsters and Other Childish Things, the premise is basically it's a dark Pokemon setting. So you're a youth of a certain age, and you have this secret monster that does things in the world, in your world, and you have a relationship with this monster. It's symbiotic, it's codependent, but the DM can use the monster to create havoc and cause conflict. And so there's a relationship that the DM has with the monster as well. And so but we can brainstorm with that, and you can use that system to create all kinds of things. It's but the other day Bryce and I were talking about that game, and what if we reskinned it, and instead of being youth of a certain age, we're adults interacting in the real world. Like, I'm now an agent, like a life insurance agent, and I've got this monster. Or I'm an ER nurse and I've got this monster in the closet. Like, and just like, and so when the monster shows up, bad things happen. And, but I really enjoy the storytelling ability with Monsters and Other Childish Things. And I really enjoy the run roll system. There's actually quite a few settings that uses that the one roll engine, but I chose Monsters and Other Childish Things because that was the first indie RPG that I've ever purchased. At Guardian Games' second location, they had this one tall, slim bookshelf in like this weird corner nook that everyone walked by, and that was where all the indie RPGs were. And I would just hang out there and lean against the wall and just read random things. And for whatever reason, that's the thing that caught my attention. And at the time, I wasn't really in an RPG group, wasn't really playing RPGs. I think at the time I was just playing like Loader, Decipher, card game, and HeroClix or something like. But I bought it and I kept it on the shelf. And I would flip through it and read it, and eventually we started playing it, and so that's where I gotta go. I gotta go. There it is.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. There's such a ridiculous number of RPGs out there too. Like, there's so many out there, and anyone who plays RPGs or is looking for a new RPG to play or something like that, like, don't always think that you have to turn to whatever the big names are, like Shadowrun or D&D or Pathfinder. There's so many out there that are so good, and even ones that only have one book because they are an indie press or something like that. But like, go explore. There's tons of stuff out there. If you've got a play group that's willing to try different things, like, there's so much stuff out there. And I'd be interested to try some other systems. Maybe if I had a group that could play it. Like, there's one that we've carried to the store called Ryutama, which is it's akin to a lot of JRPGs. That's the way the art style is. And the thing that's really cool about it is it doesn't take normal adventurers. What it is the people who are playing the characters are just regular village people. Like, there's a merchant, there's a minstrel, there's a farmer, and it's about, like, it's more about exploration. There's a combat system, there's a combat layout that's really akin to, like, old school JRPGs like Final Fantasy and stuff like that before they became three-dimensional. It's a really cool and really unique system. And the DM actually has a character that can interact with the players. The DM creates this dragon spirit that can interact with them in positive or negative ways. Like, you can be kind of a trickster one, and you can, like, kind of mess with them while they're on the road, or you can show up and help them, like, during a dangerous encounter, or if they're lost or something like that. It's a really cool system, and the art in the book is gorgeous. but like I don't have a group or time to play it. And my
So
DMing experience is so minimal
yeah,
that I wouldn't know what to do to try and run it myself.
our group is before COVID. Our group was meeting every other week, and we took turns based on whoever the DM was. They could pick the system.
Yeah.
And so, and a lot of times it basically went, we did a story arc in 5e and then a story arc in something else. And then back to our 5e and then back. So that's sort of like the rhythm that we've been on for a while.
Yeah.
And then right before COVID hit, we talked about having our group go every week where like let's say weeks 1 and 3 was the D&D campaign, and then 2 and 4 was another system, and so you could play in both if you wanted, and that's how we opened up. That's how we got like Wes in, joined us, right? And then right when that happened, COVID struck, and so
The ruiner of everything.
yeah. So on one week we have, so the week that you're on is Men in Black, and then the opposite week is Ghostbusters. And
okay.
and so Ghostbusters kept going with they were doing Mutant Crawl Classics. And I actually just got crazy overwhelmed with screen time and stuff. I actually bowed out of that. I kind of let my character die or something, or I don't know what happened to me, but I couldn't keep up with 2 different things online all the time. Yeah. And so and I kept with the 5e one because I was at the time I was DMing the first leg of the Eberron campaign. And so right now Ghostbusters is trying to figure out what's going to happen next, because they wrapped up the Mutant Crawl Classics one and they're trying to figure out what's next. And Men in Black is going strong. We have 5 players in a DM, I think. Yeah. So because Mike dropped out and I think you took Mike's spot. So but it's a good group. It's a good core. And just what everyone in there is willing to DM something. I know Kevin keeps threatening to DM Delta Green when it's his turn. So I hope he does, because I'd be interested in playing it again. But so maybe you'll have an opportunity again in the future, Chad.
Yeah, we'll see.
So let's see. All right. So we talked about the mini game and then the RPG game. Why don't we throw a little bonus category? Board game. Is there a board game you'd want to have with you on the island?
Can it be Forbidden Island on the island?
That would be super meta. But it would leave you wanting to leave, because that's the whole premise of Forbidden Island,
right.
isn't it?
Exactly.
Where's the chopper?
Desert, so in case your desert island metaphors going together.
Yeah.
For me, let's see. I was kind of thinking maybe like Risk. There's a bunch of variety of Risk also, but it can be a long game, and you never know. It can be kind of fun. Some people bang their head against the game, I know, but
all right. I love it. You're pulling out like classics here. You're going with BattleTech, Risk, all these games that we played when we were kids. 3-5.
I mean, now if the island didn't survive all your food, you could get Mousetrap as a way to catch food. Sorry.
Wah, wah. Dad jokes galore.
Oh, I got a dad joke for you later, but all right.
All right. I'll go next. It's an easy one for me. I really love Seven Wonders. I have so much fun with it. We have all of the expansions, and I think I won the most recent game again. So, so the last 5 games we've played, I've won 4 times and got second once. So I'm on a killer streak right now.
Yeah.
So feeling pretty good. So, but yeah, that's an easy take for me. Seven Wonders, lots of replayability. No 2 games are the same.
Yeah.
What about you, Chad?
If you had the right number of people, I haven't played again a ton of board games, but I'm a really big fan of the Talisman 4th Edition board game. And I know that there's a number of different expansions for it that add different stuff. I have one of the expansions, but I haven't gotten to play it. And Talisman is one of those ones that, like, I enjoy playing the game, but it seems like every time I try and teach or I try and play, I'm teaching people how to play it for the first time. And so I'll generally take the evil characters out of it because the evil characters are more focused towards PP, and it kind of sucks if you're getting unlucky and you're not really if you're fighting difficult creatures and you're kind of getting beat up at the early stages of the game, that some evil characters out running around the board also hunting you down and like hurting you more, possibly knocking you out, or taking some of the items that you do manage to get. But if I had a group of people that were like familiar with it, or like we could play it a couple of times and get into it, and then also like there's like I said, there's a bunch of different expansions that add more stuff to it and expand the board out more than just the base what the base board is. And that's another one that can take a pretty long time. A lot of times, like usually a couple of hours by the time you get strong enough to start making your way into the very like center of the board to try and get to the crown of command to try and knock the other players out. That one's really good. Seven Wonders is definitely probably an honorable mention. That one's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed playing that one while I have played it.
Nice. This is a fun conversation.
Yeah.
It's a fun topic. I'm glad that our Patreon supporters suggested the topic. The sad thing is it makes me want to play all these games right now, and we can't, it's really hard to get games in right now. So
yeah.
So my mouth so true story. Sidetrack. Jalapeno is probably my favorite flavor to eat. Just saying the word makes my mouth water. Like I love jalapeno, right? That's what I'm feeling right now about these games.
Yeah.
The way I love jalapeno, I want more games. Why don't we move to the hobby desk? What are you guys building? What are you painting?
I've been building up some of my Monpok and Riot Quest I recently picked up from a nice store sale. And it's partly why I think I got my runny nose. As I was kind of talking to my wife about it, she's all like, "Oh, I think you have glue flu." I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Yeah, it's like you're like around like super glue or the well, I'm too tired to say the actual word, acrylic acid, whatever. The formal name of super glue." I sound real smart today, and so it gets in like your nasals or it kind of creates a inflammation, right? So I think that's what I'm kind of dealing with. It's like, darn you, hobby now has taken its toll on me. Other than that, yeah, I'll be getting some more. I've just kind of been cleaning up also a few of the models. But the other side army that I have is almost painted. I've got, I think, 8 models of, I believe, 72 or 73 models total, including the Titan, the big guy. And like I said, I didn't clock myself exactly, but I'll say 11 hours, give or take 30, 40 minutes on it. So it's not so bad.
So jelly.
I know, right? So
did you use their primer, the two? Like the
I didn't use fully because that was just too many models to do.
Okay.
But I'll have a video, hopefully when I can get it finished and edited here. I'll be using that as the primer, and then I have just the rattle canned $2 or $2.50, $3 bottle from Bimart. I did majority of them in because again, 70 odd models is just, I didn't want to hand brush all of that, so I just rattle canned most of it. Which I did notice some issues with it. Maybe it's because it's a cheap white primer, and I should learn to, if I go with an aerosol primer with white, spend the extra money and buy one of the actual ones for miniatures. But I'll discuss it further at another day when I get done with it. But there's at times, because the contrast style, that paint works, it like just slots right off, and it's not sticking to the area where I need it to stick. So some of the bigger models, there's small sections here, there where it's not really good coverage. So I might have to go back, put that white primer on it, and then redo it. So that's the hobby I've been doing since I don't get to play the games. I might as well get them ready for games. Right?
Nice.
I've been working through my Riot Quest stuff. I had, once the new Kickstarter came in, I had 36 models in total to work on, including stuff that had released last year at the beginning of COVID, from the first quote unquote season that Riot Quest has done. I'm about halfway through them. I counted as we got started. I think I've got 18 models left to do. Mostly are all heroes that I'm working on. Was working on getting through some of those. There were a couple of brand new miniatures for Death Guard from Games Workshop that just came out this past weekend. One of them is a new HQ dude in Terminator armor that's got a big double plague spewer. So I picked that guy up, and then I also picked up the terrain piece called the, what is it? Miasmic Malignifier, which is basically like this big smokestack thing that puts out the like plague putrescent fog, and it debuffs the enemy army. It reduces their toughness by 1 if they're inside the range. I got that put together last night, and it's got some spiky bits on it and stuff. So that stuff is going to get primed, and then once I get done painting the Riot Quest stuff, I'm going to move on and do these handful of models that I just got, and then also the 6 Plague Marines that are from the Heroes Box 3, that are 6 unique sculpts for the Plague Marines to do. So that's what I've got looking forward to on my painting table. I just need to stop being lazy and quit playing so much League of Legends with my friends and get back to painting.
Nice. Yeah, I've got my T9A army. That's all primed, and I started with one of the characters that I'm painting, and I'm using Vallejo paints for the first time, and so getting used to how they cover and how they go on. And I'm using a brand new acrylic brush, a size 3, that was recommended to me by one of my Malifaux friends. And I really, really like using a larger brush. And I'm used to using a 2 or even a 1, and man, a size 3 it just feels good in my hand, and it holds paint on the brush. It's easy to clean. Like, I'm just happier painting.
Yeah.
And so there's that. And then I did something weird, Dan. I primed a couple BattleTech models on Saturday.
Where'd you get these BattleTech models from? I thought I got them all from you.
You did. You got all of them, and then I got a couple. So, but the reason it's a good reason. It's a very good reason.
Yeah. All right.
I wanted to try out Turbo Dork. Mm-hmm. And I want to use them on the BattleTech models before I put them on something else that I'm thinking about putting them on.
Okay.
And so I'm using. I just got the simple starter, the beginner box. It's $20. So I only have 2 models. That's all I have. It's not going crazy.
But now you have rules for it too.
Yeah. I'll have plenty for you to borrow. Don't you worry.
That's the plan. The plan is to get together, and Steve has BattleTech. Like everyone has BattleTech.
I'm gonna reach back and pull some old shade. How's that Desert Hydra coming along?
Oh! All of my Scorn, all of it is packed away in foam in the garage.
Okay.
Because I switched factions and stopped painting them.
Cut and deep. Mm-hmm. That's all right. I'm gonna have I will have a fully army painted by the end of the month. So there you go, Chad. Mission completed. Hopefully next time we.
Oh man, I have to catch up with you guys. You guys are like killing it. I'm a slow painter, so. All right, you have 11 hours in on one army?
Yeah.
And I probably have 3 hours in on one model.
Yeah. And I got about another hour left. Those 8 models will take me about an hour and a half. I'm averaging about 10 minutes a model. So.
I got to tell you though, since before I started painting the Riot Quest stuff, a lot of the stuff I was painting before were batch groups of doing 10 of something, 5 of something, or something like that, and it feels like it just takes forever. And I got to tell you, like, I can hammer out a Riot Quest miniature in like about an hour and a half, or like 2 hours if I'm really like, if I'm kind of like taking my time and trying to figure out what I want for the color scheme. But like, I can generally hammer something out in like an hour, hour and a half, and just like blasting through those models just feels so much better than sitting here and you're like, all right, going back through once again, doing this one color on all the trim of all of these models. Oh my gosh, it was mind numbing.
You get brown boots, you get brown boots, and you get brown boots, and you get brown boots.
Yep. I mean, those Space Wolf Assault Intercessors that I just got done painting look awesome, but holy crap, I was tired of painting those by the time I was done with them. I was just so ready to be done with the project that it felt like it took forever. Because you're doing one little bit at a time, and then they're all done at once instead of just doing one piece done, one piece done, one piece done.
I love it. I love it. Well, that would be a great invitation for our listeners. First, join us online in our. We have a lot of activity happening on our Discord server. We'll have the links for that in the show notes. You can find additional links for ways to support us, both in our announcement channel on the server, but then also on our website at spellstormminiatures.com. And actually, I have trouble typing it in. I have to do the www.spellstormminiatures.com, and that'll take you right to it. And I don't know if your browsers are having that issues or not, but that's kind of a weird thing. I thought everything was fine without the www, but whatever. And then also want to extend an invitation to all of our listeners to join us for the paint party. We host a paint party on our Discord server every Thursday night at 8 p.m., starting around 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you're welcome to just hop in the voice channel there, and we have a good time. We talk about random things. A lot of times we have a topic that we plan to talk about ahead of time. Yeah. And
then don't, like last week.
And then don't. We
were talking about food discussions, about food breakdowns of like what is a sandwich and what is not, the reason why, and then nobody talked about it. We just totally went in a different direction.
Well, it just makes me think that like maybe it wasn't that intriguing of a topic, and that's okay, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I know some people have a lot of fun playing that game of like, what is a soup, what is a sandwich, and I just don't get the enjoyment in that debate. I don't care. Like, it's food. If it tastes good, I want it in my mouth. I don't care if it's classified as a sandwich or not.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh, well,
especially the extreme ones about like, is a taco actually a sandwich? I'm like, no, it's a taco.
Yeah,
like,
it's a sandwich.
It's delicious. It goes in my mouth.
It's a taco?
Why are we debating if it's a sandwich or not? Like,
well, you know, sandwiches are superior foods, and so if it does count as a taco, or I mean, if it does count as a sandwich, then it elevates
elevates it. Okay.
All right, we're done. Hey, thank you for listening. Join us next week, or in 2 weeks, rather. We have an exciting episode. We did a cross episode with a special guest, and I'm excited to share him with our listeners and more games. There's lots of more games. We're all preparing to play if and when we get the green light to do so. With that being said, see you later.
There's a Ninja Turtle game that revolves around pizza. Can't remember what it's called though. But
Well, anything Ninja Turtles, I think.
right, pretty much. Play the game. Does fruit belong on pizza? That's a game for you. Because we get wildly crazy answers of pineapple. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't understand the pineapple debate.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Sometimes it's great. Sometimes I don't want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to go tossing like apples or blackberries on my pizza, but
Although I have had apple on a pizza before.
oh yeah, I like that.
Fine.
Yeah, nothing
Yeah.
too special.
Well, because apples, it's kind of starchy, like that texture wise, and and it can dry out, so it gives nice little depending on how you cut it or whatever. But apples and cheese go together, like apple and pork go together. So it's like a sweet sausage and apple on a pizza.
I can see it. I was thinking even like a chicken, or make like an apple pie type of pizza. But
Well, no, I have had an actual apple pie pizza
oh yeah,
at Round Table or something. They have a dessert pizza that's apples and cinnamon.
yeah.
But I'm talking about like
a savory combo.
Yeah, an artisan style savory.
I can see see with pork or with a chicken. I've never been I've heard that put somewhat cheddar on a apple pie. I just can't bring myself to it.
Yeah, I would do that if I ever thought about it, but I never think about it. But like an after school snack, a few apple slices and a few cheese slices, that goes perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I can see that. This is going to be our edit cutout, or where there's the typical podcast going into food.
yeah. Yeah.
Here's your bonus content. Does cheese and apples go together? No. Yeah. My kids usually like the cowboy pizza. Usually what they'll...
I like the cowboy pizza. It's pretty standard.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I ordered a cowboy pizza last week.
Oh, yeah?
Brought it home, cooked it up, and it was amazing.
Put some of that thin sliced roast beef on top, and you're good to go.
Hey, don't make fun of my sandwich meat.
Hey, I'm not making fun of it. I'm saying toss it on there because it can be tasty.
Dude, I got some smoked turkey breasts at home right now.
Yeah.
Bomb sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
And then Laura made homemade turkey and rice soup. So good.
Nice.
So good. We ate every part of that turkey.
Yep.
Ozma even ate the heart and the gizzard and the liver.
The liver, I can't go for the heart. The heart just, it's too weird for me. I don't know.
Yeah. What's weird for me is testicle. I don't know if I can ever eat that. But apparently people do.
Yes. Yes, they do. Rocky Mountain oysters.
You.
Yeah. Man. You can go Indiana Jones style, get some monkey brain going or something.
There's a great one for the extra reel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. That's live. That's live. Oh my goodness.
You missed our conversation about cheese and apples and
Oh yeah, I missed the good part of the conversation. Instead, I don't think I could eat testicle. Rocky Mountain oysters, not for me.
Oh. How about walking in on the wrong time?
Okay. Yeah. Rock and roll.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. So play any games, and then pizza got here.
Play the games. That's what the question was. Have you played any games lately?